I'm sure you've been told that if you didn't post on social media, then you don't exist. But what if the best way to grow your show has nothing to do with the algorithm, dancing, or the latest trending audio? Today, I'm sharing my 4-part framework on getting found without the hamster wheel of social media. Welcome to Podcasting Unlocked, the show for purpose-driven podcasters. I'm Alicia Galati, founder of Galati Media, and I'm here to share actionable strategies to help you amplify your message and grow your audience. In September of 2025, I made a decision. I said I am no longer going to be posting about my podcast on social media. And guess what? Nothing happened to my downloads. They didn't drop, they didn't go up. Nothing changed. And I think that so often we think that we have to be doing what everybody else is doing, especially if you grew up in this social media world where all of a sudden you have to be on the latest app, you have to be using the latest trending sound, or you have to be dancing or doing different trending actions in order to even have success. But the truth of the matter is that if you are posting about your podcast on social media, your listener or potential listener is there for social media. They're not there to get taken off of the app and go somewhere else. So it's really important that one, if we're using social media, that we're using it very strategically and not just as a way to pull people off of the app. But two, we have a choice to also not use social media if that's something that we don't want to do. I want to encourage you to, instead of renting your audience out to these social media platforms, start building your audience in a really strategic way that allows you to stay connected with them no matter what. So today we're going to be talking about how to use search, borrowed audiences, and direct connection to replace your daily posting habits. First is search. This is the silent engine that works on the back end, and that is podcast SEO. This is probably one of the most important parts of your podcast. It is so extremely important that you are using the proper SEO strategies for your show. And I know this can feel a little overwhelming of like, where do I even begin? We have episodes on SEO that you can go back and listen to. But when it comes to titling your episodes, putting things into the podcast description and the show notes, and all of the rest of that stuff, I want you to really think about what is it that this person might be searching on these apps, or what might somebody be searching in their Google search or in their AI tool of choice. So here it's really important that for the title specifically, we don't just have episode number and then chatting with this person's name. You want to instead start with how to insert result with insert guest name. And if you look back at my episodes, you'll see how we're very strategic in the titles that we're picking. Even though we might have a bunch of guests on, that it's very important that when you're coming up with the titles, that it's about what the listener might actually be really trying to understand from the topic. So instead of just having your title be episode 145 and then that person's name or deep conversation with so and so, go deeper. What are you trying to achieve for the conversation? And what is the result that your listener is going to get from it? Next, going into the description. Here, those first 100 words really matter. You want to use keywords naturally as possible. Don't just keyword stuff. Let the search engine know exactly what it is that this conversation is about. So make sure that first paragraph really highlights the main claim that you're trying to make or the main theme of the episode. Then you go into your guest's bio. This reinforces who the guest is. So if someone is searching their name, then your episode shows up. Then you want to go into highlights or key takeaways from the episode. Here, I like to do around 5 key takeaways that are full bullet points, things that are really addressing the issues that were discussed in the episode. And then I round it out with a call to action. This could look like go like and subscribe, or it could be an action that they need to take from the conversation in the episode. You could also kind of have a conclusion or round it out with addressing where the listener might be or how they might be feeling as they're going into this. So if you have a parenting podcast, you could say, whether you're a new mom or a struggling single dad, this episode is going to help you XYZ, right? Whatever that is that you're trying to help them with. We also talked about this in episode 176 with Mickey Kennedy. So make sure you go back and check that out. We talked about strategic keywords that are in press releases that work the same in show notes. So your action for this, if this is something that you're struggling with, is to go back and look and see what are your lowest performing episodes and rename those episodes this week. The second strategy is the Trojan Horse strategy. This is your PR and your guesting. It's important that, yes, it's great to be able to grow an audience from scratch, but most of the time, it's not how a lot of people do it. You're going to borrow your audience from someone else's, move them over to your show. So here you want to check out our podcast guesting episodes. We have lots of content around that. Or you could always book a strategy session with me to talk about what's going to work for you specifically in your podcast and where you might want to be guesting. I use Podmatch as well as a way to put myself out there and to get engaged with other podcasters. So there's lots of different resources that you can check out. But if you're looking for like a quick and easy way to pull all this together, PR is a great way to do this. You could write a blog post where you say the top 10 podcasts for, and then insert your niche. And then from here, you could insert yourself as number 5 or number 10 or number 1, whatever you want to do. And then you can send it to those other 9 podcast hosts. They're going to be super flattered that you even shared it, that you included them, and that's extra visibility without having to ask for any favors from anyone. So that's a quick and easy way for you to do that. But I also recommend guesting on shows because podcast listeners listen to podcasts. And if they're listening to another one, they're likely to be listeners of your podcast as well. It's very easy to convert someone who's already listening to a show into another show. So your action for this one is that I want you to come up with an idea of something you could do. It could be that you're going to pitch yourself to 5 podcasts. You're going to create this top 10 podcasts for your industry blog post, or you're going to find a way to get mentioned in a PR press for your local newspaper. Any of those can work. All right. Strategy number 3 is the visual search engine, Pinterest. And I know you might be thinking, I don't know about all that, but I'm telling you, do not sleep on Pinterest. Pinterest is not a social media app. It is meant to take you off of the app. That is the whole point is here's a link for a piece of content that you're interested in. Go check it out. And then it'll open it up in the Pinterest app. So it's all about them trying to keep people on their platform. And they're using your content to do that. So it's really important that we're maximizing every strategy possible to us, especially if we are not posting on social media. We want to make the most of this and we want to be able to get our podcast out in front of new people. What I recommend for Pinterest is that you are creating a blog for every episode. This is also great for SEO. You can use a tool like Capshow. I interviewed the founder, Deirdre, on the podcast, episode 211. So you can go check out that conversation as well. We've also had previous conversations about Pinterest. Just go ahead and go to our website, and in the search, you'll be able to find those episodes. We'll also have them linked in the show notes. But if you're someone, again, who's struggling with this or you're not sure where to begin, book a free consultation. We can talk, or you can book a strategy session and we can go deep into your podcast, your goals, what you're trying to achieve, and where you can improve. So for Pinterest, you want to create that blog post, like I said. Next, you're going to want to create 3 to 5 pins. Those are just graphics that are going to lead people back to your blog post or episode. And then you want to go and upload those into Pinterest, making sure to link those to your actual website link. The beautiful thing about Pinterest is that unlike social media, which has a very short lifespan, pins can drive traffic for years. I still get traffic to my website from pins that I created 4 years ago. So it is such an incredible strategy and it really does work. Strategy number 4 is probably one that you wouldn't even consider, and that is email and newsletter swaps. These are great because it is going to get you directly in front of other people's newsletters. And you can find a peer or someone who has a similar audience size and say, hey, I'm going to mention your show in my newsletter this week. I would love it if you mentioned mine. Obviously, have some predetermined discussion about this and make sure that you're offering exclusive content. So, you want to use your email list to deliver bonuses like PDFs, extended files. Maybe they are bonus episodes entirely. And these are things that are not on your regular feed. And this will also train your listeners to join your list and to continue to check out the emails that come through. So, here is your challenge. I want you to go dark on social media for 1 week and spend some time optimizing your back catalog SEO instead. And I want you to see what happens. If you need more support around this or you would like a more custom plan on things that you can do to improve your show, I would love to invite you to book a strategy session with me. We'll talk about your specific goals, the things that you're trying to achieve, and the things that you can do to improve your show today. For our strategy sessions, it's really about getting down to your goal and ensuring that the actions you're taking make sense for that goal instead of just doing all of the things. I wouldn't recommend that you go in and try to do SEO, PR, Pinterest, and emailing all in the same week. Instead, pick one, try to work on it. If you're feeling stuck or if you're like, I don't really know where to start, let's talk. My calendar is available. You can check the link in the show notes and in the YouTube description for more information. Until next time, happy podcasting.